Hi Aries, welcome to your fortnightly forecast with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aries, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. That being said, remember these are just purely tarot. There's no astrology in these, so play around with them, watch them back, you know, at the end of a week or at the end of a fortnight, let's say, and see how they speak to you and which one resonates with you more. All right, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop the majors over here and I'm going to give these a good shuffle. So your first set out are going to be all to do with your actions and results over the next fortnight. So whatever you're setting into motion and how it might play out for you. All right, so you have the Wheel of Fortune, the Emperor, beautiful, and the Ten of Cups. I mean, as they go, you could ask for a lot less, right? Look at this. So basically this suggests that whatever actions you're taking over the next sort of 2 weeks ahead, things are actually working out in your favor. The results that you're getting from your actions are solid. Now, what may these things be geared towards? Definitely for some of you, this might be about an educational pursuit. It may actually have something to do with a work project. For some of you, if you're wrapping up things to do with work projects, study projects, or things that you've initiated or kind of got started with, this does suggest that over the next fortnight, you're having some really good results show up for you. I absolutely love this. Now, to get into it even deeper, you've got the Wheel of Fortune and you also have the Ten of Cups. 2 tens represents change, right? So the fact that you've got this here with the Emperor is you. So this week is like whatever you're setting into motion, it really does have a lot to do with what you're trying to create in your own life. It really does have a level or a measure of something that you have needed or wanted to complete or even set out into the world for quite some time. The results are absolutely there. The other thing with the Emperor card, this can represent a boss, a father, or a, you know, even a significant other. Now, in terms of it being like a marriage card, this does suggest that you are bringing together or pulling together two separate aspects of your life. So this could be literally like your professional or your academic life with your home life and or your familial ties. So I absolutely love this for you. I will say as well, this next fortnight is probably going to be a lot easier and smoother for a lot of you than it has been in a while. And I wonder why. Probably because we are coming into Aries season, right? The birth of the zodiac happens once more when we get to Aries season. You've got a little while to go yet, but certainly over the course of the next fortnight, we will be stepping into Aries season. So this is potentially you feeling that energy that's behind you and kind of stepping forward with it in a sense, which is great. For your career and communications, you have the Seven of Pentacles, but easy does it, all right? Don't force it. This is not a fortnight for you to just jump straight in. Start things, move ahead with things, like let your plans be known, absolutely. But just know that these are things that are probably going to take a bit more of a time investment than just this fortnight. Then you've got the Queen of Wands, right? So for those of you that are Aries, Aries women as well, look at that. You show up very strong in your own reading. Now, it does suggest that in a career sector or in the career sector, a fire sign woman is likely to feature for you. So this could be another Aries or a fellow Aries, but it could just as easily be that you're having to set some clear boundaries around how long it's going to take you to achieve something. So for those of you that are, you know, in terms of work, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, look at that, right, with the Two of Pentacles. So if you're employed by somebody else, this is about you know, having conversations about where you need to manage your time more effectively. I hate it when bosses say that. It's so crap, right? It's like they're palming it off onto you. Although this triplet does suggest that you may need to do that, right? It's definitely a possibility, but don't let that be the be all and short all of it, all right? The other thing as well that comes up with this In terms of your so for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this might be a time investment that, or like something may take you longer when it comes to the career than you had actually factored in. It may very well be as well that the time commitment is tied to a financial commitment. So what I mean by this is maybe there's something that you're paying for at the moment that you thought you'd be done with that actually ends up stretching further for your business. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I mean, when it comes to studies, this is really nice. It sees you knuckling down. This might be a time where you start to get really serious about your studies. It is potentially as well for some of you where you're starting to look at the sources of funding that you have available to you and asking yourself, maybe for some of you, asking yourself, is this actually is this how I really want to continue with my studies, or in this direction, or in this arena? For those of you that are retired and no longer working, in terms of time commitments or things that you are putting time, effort and energy into or investing in, this might be for a lot of you starting to understand that if you want your money to do more for you, you're going to have to start thinking about ways to invest. Now, if you do have somebody in the background saying you should be doing this with your money, you should be doing that with your money, just be mindful that this person may not have all of the facts of your situation. So more information in this case is actually going to help. I mean, all in all, these fall on some really nice cards. So I have to say, like, good things are abounding here. Now, when it comes to your money and materials, you've got the Page of Wands, the Hierophant card, and the Five of Wands. So when it comes to finances, money and resources, there are potential disputes this week, this fortnight, when it comes to money. And one thing that I will say to you, when it comes to your finances this week or this fortnight, I'm so used to doing these weeklies, right? As many of you are used to seeing them. But this fortnight, I would be very mindful about the conversations that you have around money, especially if you think a certain thing has kind of seen out its purpose. You might need to think again on this. You may also need to have some conversations around boundaries when it comes to finances. And the other thing as well, because it's the Hierophant card, anywhere where you're tied to a larger institution when it comes to finances, money and resources may prompt some potentially sort of explosive conversation. Now, for those of you, or should I say when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this could be, so I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but what I will say is if you had a diagnosis of some sort and you kind of feel like that might be it, but it doesn't feel like the actual answer, this might be a fortnight where you are sort of asking for more information, or you're looking for a second opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I actively encourage you to ask for a second opinion. If what your doctor is saying to you doesn't sit right, or it doesn't feel like it's going to solve the problem, this week I would absolutely ask your doctor. All right, just say to them, like, actually, can we run more tests? Can I get a second opinion, or can you ask a colleague for a second opinion? More information seems to be the theme of this fortnight for you guys. When it comes to your home and environment, when it comes to the home and environment, this could be challenging conversations with your children if you have them. So if you've got kids, maybe they're hitting you up for money again, and maybe this week or this fortnight you have to say to them, listen, you're going to have to start pulling your own weight when it comes to the finance aspect of things. It may very well be as well, potentially, that a partner, a child, or somebody that you live with, if you do, maybe their finances take a dip this week or this fortnight, and you kind of realise, you know what, this might be a problem for all of us as we navigate forward. And then, because I forgot the sequence, I have your heart and half, or your love and relations. So you've got the Page of Pentacles with the Five of Wands and the Hanged Man. So it's an interesting triplet in that what it really suggests to me, so with that Page of Pentacles, it falls on top of the Page of Wands, right? So the first thing that I'm seeing there is a lot of disquiet when it comes to love, relationships and partnerships. There is potentially here too many cooks spoil the broth. So I'm going to say to you, when it comes to your relationship, your partnership or your significant other, I would be very mindful about how you, what's the word? Yeah, being very mindful about how you mix business and pleasure, or friendships and relationships, right? Because this could get a little sticky. If those of you, for those of you that are single and looking and ready to mingle, as they say, I actually really like this for meeting somebody in a place that is a bit more spiritual, or maybe meeting somebody very much by accident, or through potentially maybe something to do with your work or your profession. If you're retired and you're single and you're open to mingling, this could be that you meet somebody, maybe you go to a yoga retreat, maybe you go to a Tai Chi class, maybe, you know, something very active that has a spiritual element to it is where you're going to find somebody that really kind of speaks to you or resonates with you at that level. So that's your different sectors for the next fortnight. So now what we're going to look at is your cross purposes. Now this I think is quite important, because what it's going to show you is where the sticky parts are and where the hiccups may be. All right, these are kind of like your challenges, but it's like the cross purposes. So for all of the great stuff that could come out of this fortnight, what is it that you need to be aware of that may get in the way of that? All right, and then so you're going to get one major card, which is going to kind of outline the theme. And the theme for you, look at this, right? The death card. So whatever has come to its natural end or completion, if you try to hold on to it, it's going to stagnate and it's potentially going to cause more harm than good. This is a fortnight where I would really be honest with yourself about what you have time for and what you actually don't. Like whatever has served its purpose and is now kind of on its way out, this would be a really good time for you to kind of say, okay, you know what, maybe it's time to let this go with some grace. Now, on top of that, wow, look at this, right? You've got the the Tower card. So if you've been with me long enough, you know I do not demonize death. When I see it in the cards, I will call it as I see it. When the cards are great, I will tell you they're great. You know, that Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Cups with the Emperor, absolutely beautiful. When the cards are challenging, I will tell you. Now, this combination doesn't always, it can speak to a literal death, as in like a physical one. I truly hope that's not the case. If it is, it will be fast. It will be resolved relatively quickly. Now, what I can also tell you with this combination that I think is really quite interesting is this could literally be the end of the death card, something that comes very suddenly. So maybe a partner or a child loses their job. Maybe you get a phone call and say, I'm quitting university. This could also be for you on a personal level. Maybe you come to a realization that there is something that you're ready to let go of. Maybe that's been a big feature part of your life for some time. And you kind of say to yourself, you know what? I'm ready to let this go. You may even surprise yourself, let alone everybody else. This might be something that comes up this week that says, you know what, this has to go. And there's a part of you that's like, wow, am I letting this go? Is this come to an end? And you will know because you'll feel it, right? So that is your cross purposes and the things that you need to be aware of and watch out for over the course of the next fortnight. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you love it? Do you loathe it? How does it speak to you? All right. With that said, take care and I'll see you soon.